Welcome. The journey of a transformational messenger begins with building a powerful foundation that our message can stand on. And a big part of this foundation is getting crystal clear with the people you serve and how you serve them. Many call this niche. And if you're like most messengers, you may have gone through a journey or even struggles trying to find the perfect niche. Whether or not you're clear on your niche, it's always a good practice to revisit the question. And today I have a very special guest because she is going to help you not just uncover your niche, but uncover your divine niche. Stay tuned. Welcome to Transformational Messenger TV. My name is Ron Kokia, and today I have Cynthia Stott here today. She's a good friend, and she's helped me to unleash my authentic message. Today she's here to share something really powerful, and it's how do you uncover your divine niche? Cynthia is a global visibility expert, business oracle, best-selling author, and the creator of thespeakersummit.com. Transformational speakers, leaders, and entrepreneurs who have a mission or calling work with Cynthia to tap into their message coming from their heart and soul. She believes that your people are waiting for you, and that the best way to serve them is to hear and know them by tapping into your divine niche. So Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ron. I'm so happy to be here.
Before we begin, I just want to ask you, why are you so inspired to serve people in this way? What really, moves you in your core to share your message to the world?
Because I want to make the world a better place. When I was a little child, I knew the world was in trouble. And I had the message that I needed to do something, but I had no idea what I could do. Especially I had 4 strong phobias. I was afraid of everything. I'm like, who, me? How can I make the world a better place? And one of those phobias was actually speaking.
Wow.
And after I got my mission in December 2006, the first thing out of my mouth was, I better get to Toastmasters. Because I need to speak my message in a way that people can really hear it.
Yes.
And feel it and understand it. And then it's deepened into this message that your people are waiting for you. In fact, they're praying for you, for someone with your unique gifts and talents, which all feeds into your divine niche. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't step up and give your gift, offer your gift to the people that need it most, that gift will not be given to the world.
Yeah.
There's no one else like you. There's no one else with your message. There's no one else with your gift. There's no one else with your particular divine niche. Now, someone else may step in to answer their prayers because the universe is abundant and generous, but they can only step in a way that it's not you. So if you're not willing to step up, and I often hear, are you willing? Are you willing to serve in this way?
Yeah. So share with the audience what divine niche is, because people have heard of niche, but they've never heard that term, divine niche. Can you enlighten us?
I say divine because it comes from deep within your heart and soul. It's the people that your soul yearns to serve in your unique way. So to me, it's not, I serve women from 40 to 60 and I do da-da-da-da. No, it's, I have this gift and it's meant to be shared in this way. And usually it actually shares across different people. What I found for me, I can serve many different people, but I serve entrepreneurs that are really creating their business around their soul work best. But they can be men, they can be women, they can be in their 20s, they can be in their 80s.
So it's not a demographic. It's almost like a soul signature, right?
Soul signature.
Yeah, that's what it
major
sounds like.
shells.
Yeah.
Yes. Because, and it's interesting because this group, this divine niche, is actually praying for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so their prayers pull you forward.
Yeah. That their desires are so powerful and deep that when you come into their life, you fill that void, sounds like.
And they, in a way, you're magnetizing them, but they're much more magnetizing you. And that's great because then they find you.
Yeah. You know, I think of it like the experience of when I was starting off as a coach, and you learn all of these techniques, but it's not until you actually have a client who needs you that all of a sudden all of these amazing gifts and the way that you deliver who you are as a coach just transforms. And so there's that pull, and I feel like that pull comes from that soul level and is fueled by that love for that person. Powerful.
And their love for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's in some ways, in my worldview, the universe is for us individually. Our universe is for us. So whether it's our people calling us or even the ground, the grass, rising to meet our feet.
That's a very powerful paradigm to look at the world and know that this world is for you.
Yes. Created for you.
Yeah. To fully take ownership of your life.
And that you are creating it.
Yes.
So if there's something amiss, you can switch it to what you want to create. And if it's something amiss, that's just some sort of echo or calling to say, hey, it can be better than this.
So are you saying that the divine niche can change and move as you grow and transform?
Because I believe that your divine niche is there's an atom, kind of fuzzy, but then there's a core to it.
Yeah.
And so it's that core that really pulls forward. But when we're caught up and we're not in our journey where we're really in ourselves, then we can be kind of skirting around the edges. But when we go into ourselves, it's just like the meaning of the word namaste. It means when I honor the place of love and light that's within you, and when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, we are one. So the more you can get into you and what your passion is, what you really want to do in the world, then you're getting closer to your actual divine niche and what they are calling forth from you.
Yeah. And it sounds like there's layers. When you say going in, it sounds like there's layers. And maybe that's one of the reasons why people get so lost in niche, is they get stuck trying to figure it out behind a layer, whether that's a fear, whether it's something that they've gone through in their life, a challenge that's so emotionally strong and pulling them that they can't see what their divine niche is, or it's just other people telling them they should do this, you're good at that. And so there's all these distractions, because I've experienced this in my life. And
the shoulds.
The shoulds, the influences from everyone, but that divine niche can only come from one place. Yourself, yes.
The yearning of your soul. That's why I believe every passion comes from the soul. And I believe that every passion, if you really deepen into that passion, that can bring forth your life's work. And so maybe even if you have we have many passions, and I think of them as a thread. Each passion is a thread, and we're weaving the thread of the quilt, the passion quilt that lies below the surface. And we often can't see it. We just maybe get a peek or a glimpse, but the deeper we go within us, within our heart and soul, following our true passion, then we can see that passion quilt. And that passion quilt is for us and our people.
Wow. And I love that metaphor, the quilt, because you can weave a different weave as long as it resonates with what lies within you, the soul level.
And the more you pull all your passions in, the better. Like I was on one radio show and this woman's the host. She says, well, you say you can make a business out of any passion. And she threw down the gauntlet. She said, Cynthia, I love to build sandcastles. And not just any old sandcastles. They're like whole villages. And I have special tools. And I just love to do it. Make a business out of that. And I had 8 different ways that she could weave that directly into her current business, because that's the interesting thing. We think, oh, there's this passion and they're out there.
Yeah.
But when I see the passion, because I hear from your heart and soul, I actually channel higher selves.
Mm-hmm.
So I see what the soul sees, all of that weave together. And the more you can weave it together to make it richness, like I'm climbing waterfall steps, okay? And how does that relate to being a speaker mentor or a global visibility expert?
Mm-hmm.
But it's huge. I'm getting global visibility on my waterfall steps and my pictures and bringing in that passion.
Yes, yes.
So weaving it all together, that's what it is. And when we weave more of our passions, we find more and more our divine niche and our people that are really calling us forth.
Yeah. And it sounds like the more we bring of ourselves and our passions, it really creates that magical, powerful, beautiful, unique voice that only we can have.
Yes. Our thumbprint message.
Yeah, yeah. So bring it on, bring in everything, all of the things that you're passionate about, and find a way to weave it into your passion quilt. So can you share with the audience, like, how can they start to uncover that? How can they start to go deeper?
We've touched on it already, and it is about going deep within you. It's not about, well, what do people want? And I got to do some market research and figure out what people want. And how can I make money? I need to figure this out. No. It's not out here. It's in here.
Yeah. And so how would you recommend people start to go inward?
The most powerful thing we can do is ask ourselves a question. So the 5 questions that I help my clients answer during the Divine Niche program is, what's my message? What's my message? 3 words. But when we really ask from our heart and soul, it's amazing what comes up.
Yeah, and this is not a thinking exercise of looking back at your past
No.
and what was best and what people think of you. It's the letting go and the surrender and going inside.
And one before that could be, what do I want? That's a very powerful question. What do I want? What do I want really?
Yeah.
And from that, what's my message? And it's not like the perfect words. It's what's the message that if I were to die tomorrow, I would want my loved ones to know and the world to know.
Powerful. Yes. And I love the what do I want, because that brings up the feelings that we may be masking or we aren't aware of because of our day-to-day and challenges. So sit down and just be quiet with yourself to discover that.
And permission that you can get an answer and that your answer is your answer. And it doesn't matter who thinks it's right or wrong or it's not quite marketing language. It's your answer from your heart and soul.
Yeah.
And there's simple ways that you can tap into that. But in the channeled calls that I do, because I'm a business oracle and I channel your higher self, I create a whole space where literally it's a real-time meeting with your heart and soul, creator God, source, your guides and guardians and angels. Whoever you have that has a message for you is invited in that space. And you can hear it even in a recording.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've experienced some of your work, and this was years ago when you had just started, and it was so powerful for me to really connect with that part of me so that I can uncover my message. And I know that you've also helped me to trust. And a big part of this practice is to trust yourself, to go into that space and see how it feels to be connected with you and what you want, your soul, your heart, and trust yourself to just share from that space. without these filters of saying, oh, should I say this or that, or what will people think of me? But just share and receive that. You don't have to share it to everyone. You can even just do it in yourself. And I love to record. I have about 3,000 voice journals on my phone. And that is a powerful practice as a messenger. Because the more you can open that channel, the more people really feel you. Yeah. Beautiful.
And that vulnerability, that space of real, authentic, I want to really know. Whatever it is, I want to know. It's almost like you're standing on the precipice and you're taking that leap out.
Yeah.
To really say, what is it I want? And many of my clients are like, I'm scared to ask again. What if it changes again? And I say, well, you're not niche jumping. They're afraid of niche jumping, but you're deepening your niche. So you asked about the niche can change. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I've always known that I was for business, that I needed to help people to basically bring their purpose work out of the hobby zone, the basement of our lives where we spend 5, 10, 15 hours a week, to the real living space of our life. So that when we're doing our purpose work, and this is what we're spending most of our waking hours doing, why not do what's coming from your heart and soul? Imagine if the whole world was doing what their heart and soul had directed them to do.
Yes. And the more I hear you, the more I'm seeing the divine niche as not as this, fact. This is your niche. Do not deviate from this, ever. It's actually this relationship that you're creating with yourself. That growing, expanding, shifting, transforming, beautiful journey that you're on continually guides your souls in different ways.
Yes.
And so it's a continual inquiry.
An exploration.
Exploration. Yes.
Exploration of you and how you can be more of you when you're more with your people, your tribe.
Yes.
And they will often pull from you. Actually, whole programs. Most of my programs were created by my people. Asking me for more.
So when people are asking you for more, do you do an inquiry with your divine self to make sure that you're in alignment? Because sometimes somebody could be really off, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's instant because it's how do I feel? Do I feel excited about that? Do I feel like, oh yeah, that would feel good? Or do we feel like, not quite. The feeling, to me, the feeling really is the signal, because feelings are deeper than words. So if we can follow the feeling, now sometimes the feeling is, oh, I'm scared to do that. That's different. It's a little different feeling though, that challenge, that quaking. But sometimes it can be hard to tell. Like, can I tell you about a time where I started shaking like a leaf when I was speaking?
Oh yeah, sure.
And it was like last year.
Really?
Yeah. Well, when I was in college, I got the nickname Miss Wiggles. I had a strong phobia against public speaking because when I spoke, my whole body shook, my lips quivered, and I could barely get my words out of my mouth. And I've overcome that. But last year, I was speaking to about 40 people, and I was telling them about your people are waiting for you. And I began to shake. Physically shake.
Wow.
And I didn't just feel it, people could see it.
And it was years since you've done that.
And it was more than 20 years since I had shaken like that.
Yes.
And I was shaking like a leaf. And I wasn't afraid. I knew it wasn't nervousness. And like, 40 people is nothing for me. I'm used to speaking in front of hundreds of people on radio, on TV, on the internet. And I'm like, what's going on? And so I just said, okay, I'm here and I'm going to move forward and I'm going to do this. And afterwards I had a conversation with God. And I said, what was up? Why was I shaking like I did back in college? And I wasn't nervous. And you know what God said? Because you care. You care more about this message than you've ever cared about anything before.
Wow.
And it was actually when I first started speaking, your people are waiting for you.
Yes.
In fact, they're praying for you. And I actually had tears coming to my eyes with the shaking. It was the quaking of my soul.
Yeah. I think that's a powerful story. Because sometimes we can get confused with, am I afraid? Or is this the fear? Or is this an emotion that feels like fear, but it's really getting so close to what my soul, my heart really wants for me?
Yearning for. And I said to God, okay, that sounds great. I care. That's cool that I care. But here I am, a speaker mentor, and I'm shaking like a leaf. How are people going to work with me as a speaker mentor if I'm shaking like a leaf? It's bad for business. And I said, what's up with it?
So what was the answer you got?
God told me to go talk to one of my mentors. He said, call so-and-so. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I said, well, she's not available right now. I know she has a radio show and this is her time and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And God's like, call her now. Mm-hmm. So I picked up the phone and I called her and she answered. And she was actually at a conference and her late radio show was just in replay. She was at a conference. She happened to be in her room at that very moment.
Beautiful.
And I told her the story and she kind of sounded like God. She goes, that's a good thing. I'm like, I told the same thing I said to God. I said, yeah, but I'm a speaker mentor. Mm-hmm. How can I be shaking like a leaf and people come to me? And she said, oh, you need to be vulnerable in the moment. And just say, I am shaking right now. I am shaking because I am so moved by this message that your people are waiting for you.
Yes. Yes.
And I found out that I was not only moved by the message, I was moved by who was in the room. Because in the room, those 40 people, I not only saw those 40 people, but I saw their hundreds and thousands of people that are waiting for them. Their divine niche was in the room and compelling me. And that's why I shook. And that's why I cried.
Yeah.
And I'm touched in this very moment. Because our people are so desperately waiting for us. And it is time for us to serve.
Yes, it is. And I love how powerful that message is. Because the times that we're afraid, we think we back off.
Yep.
But instead, you said, this is what I feel so powerfully right now. And you allowed yourself to share that with the world. With your audience. And that's what makes a transformational messenger.
Yes, but it doesn't feel good.
It may feel like, really scary.
Very scary.
But the times when you share from that space are the times people remember how powerful your message is. And that's when they can really feel you. Like I am feeling you right now.
There's a powerful truth here. That people won't care about what you're saying until they know you care.
Yeah.
And when you can show that in a powerful way, that you are touched, you are moved, and you are ready to serve your people, that will inspire them to work with you and to rise up to be able to work with you.
Yes. Yes. Well said. You know, it all starts from emotion.
Yes.
And if there is no emotion in your message, they're not going to receive it. One of my favorite mentors, probably the same one you're talking about, would tell me, it's not what you say that people remember, it's how you made them feel.
Yes.
And so remember that's what supercharges your message. And when you're feeling from your heart and soul and from your divine niche, you're connected to that and you're allowing that to guide you, your message will be so powerful. So well received.
Even if you mess up your words or don't get all your message out there.
Yeah. Let go of that perfectionist getting the words right and just feel.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. We had a powerful conversation today, Cynthia, and definitely want to help people to connect to that divine niche. How can they continue this journey to uncover and discover that relationship that they desperately need as a messenger?
Well, I wrote an ebook and I want to give that as a free gift. And it's called 7 Indicators That Your People Are Waiting for You. And so you can really identify, and some of those indicators are very unexpected. Like you have a wound, you have a challenge in some way. That wound, that difficulty that happened to you actually makes you suited best for your people. And it's one of your greatest gifts.
I've experienced and believe in that. Yeah.
And it's like if you unwrap the wounds are the wrapping paper on your gifts. And when you unwrap the wound, you find the nugget of the gift inside. Or my inner wisdom child, Cindy Sue, she says, joy rises from the mud. So if we avoid the mud, we don't want to go there, then we always are going to have our gift elude us, our deepest gifts. By diving in, by being vulnerable, that's when we find our deepest gifts.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you, Cynthia.
You're welcome.
Such a powerful conversation today.
You're welcome.
So would you please share with our audience how they can get your amazing free gift?
Awesome. It's at www.cynthiastott, that's S like Sam, T like Tom, OTT.com, /the speaker summit, /ebook. So cynthiastott.com, /the speaker summit, /ebook.
Beautiful. And I also know that you're creating programs, or have programs actually, to help people uncover their divine niche. And I know it's an evolution from the course that I took from you, which is Deepen Your Message.
Yes.
Will you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So Deepen Your Message is where I do channeled calls, where you find out, what's my message, who is it meant for, all of those questions for divine niche. And we have a facilitated call to help you go deeper with the questions and deeper with the mindset work. But now we're adding divine niche coaching. And we just had our second session yesterday, actually on top of my waterfall stuff. So we're acting on divine niche coaching. And it was fabulous because that divine niche is really the foundation that starts everything we do. If you don't really see who your people are and what they need and what they're calling forth in you, then it's hard for you to create your programs and share them on Facebook.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us today. We had a powerful conversation with Cynthia, who reminded us that the power of our message comes from our heart and soul. So the more you can connect to that space, the more powerful your message becomes. So until next time, find those nuggets, find that wisdom, find those action steps that you want to take this upcoming week, so that you can deepen that connection and uncover your divine niche. We'll see you next time.